Welcome to another episode of the Bandwagon Podcast, and today is a very special podcast for me. Not only as an icon in his own right, but part of UK and Punjabi history regarding music in the UK. Just generally, there's not enough superlatives I can say. He's one of the founding members of Apna Sangeet, an artist in his own right. Sardara Gill, welcome to the Bandwagon Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Ricky.
Yeah, I was just saying on the first run of this, it's a unique environment where I don't really see you outside of a party environment. So this is very special for me, and I'm hopefully you'd probably enjoy this interview.
I think I don't do many interviews, but I'm sure I will enjoy the interview.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So I want to go back in terms of your relationship, especially with music and Sangeet. Forgive the point. Is a very special one, and it links quite a lot even with my own history in terms of my relationship with Smethwick, Birmingham, and the UK Bhangra scene in itself. So, as you were growing up, how was your relationship with music?
Actually, when I first started, I came in this country in 1963. I was 6 years old. So actually, back in India, whenever we never had only one radio station probably in the village, and if you listen to a song, I used to try and sing the same song, and my grandmother used to say, "Yo, Sardar, can you sing a little song, and we'll give you a ambu, hai na, ke da laaj nahi aane de de."
Yeah.
So it was that kind of song. So I just had a hobby of listening to songs and try to sing. Then when I came to this country, that's when मैं पंजाबी my Punjabi of Gurdwara Sikh Temple Smadhi. ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਟੀਚਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਭੋਗਲ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ on a Sunday he used to have ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਸੀਗਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਦਾ ਧਰਮ ਗੀਤ ਗਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਢੋਲਕੀਆ ਵਜਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ so they can sing so which was ਇੱਥੋਂ ਨਾਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਨਾਲੇ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਗਾਉਣ ਮੇਰਾ ਬ੍ਰਦਰ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਗਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ so we both used to do ਸ਼ਬਦ and ਧਰਮ ਗੀਤ.
My mom always, my mom and my mama G always used to talk about seeing you guys as youngsters and doing the kirtan in the Smadhi Gurdwara, and know the history of from where you kind of started off, and then I had an old vinyl which I sent the picture of you, ages ago. During, I think COVID times when you went into the loft and find old things that you can actually see your history and have it all pictured.
Yeah.
Did you how during that time was it just a shonk, or was it just like something serious that you thought I want to build something here?
It was just a hobby, shonk ਸੀ. It was a hobby, just ਧਰਮ ਕੀ ਗਾਲਾਂ ਨੇ when the friends used to get that was at the age of 11, 12. As I grew up and still had the song when 16, 18, 20, whatever. Then when the lads used to get together and ਸਾਰੇ ਚੱਲ ਕੋਈ ਗੀਤ ਗਾ ਦੇ ਚੱਲ ਪੱਬ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਗੀਤ that kind of nothing like I was going to become a singer or anything like that because ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ singer ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਜੇ you should learn ਬਾਜਾ ਵਜਾਉਣਾ ਆਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. I don't know nothing, to be honest.
You got over 4 years, you got away with it.
It's only God's grace, how I sing, I don't know. And it is essential you must learn baja na ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੁਰ ਗਿਆ ਆਂਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਪਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ. So in that way, unfortunately I didn't learn, which if I would have been an advantage to me, but still I thank God for whatever he given me.
I think in the late it was in the late 70s when you joined Bhujhangy Group, more
79.
79, yeah. So
because they knew I used to Gurdwara mein bhi, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਬਲਵੀਰ ਹੁਣੀ. We used to live on one road, so we knew each other. So ਉਸ time that's when they had a difference between the Bhujhangy Group. So the two brothers Dalveer left the Lochan Huni, Soon Huni, so they went on their own way. So they needed singers. So that's when they approached me.
And Bhujhangy Group is one of the most important groups that have been in UK Punjabi music because of the amount of artists that have been through there or started their journey or been through that journey. Do you think they get enough praise in that when people think back to it, especially nowadays?
Well, they should, because the olden days, I think I was, whenever I do my interview, I always like to mention their name. I mean, Bhujhangy Group, A.S. Kang Paji, Anadi Sangeet Party. I mean, we used to listen to A.S. Kang before I even started, that was when I was only doing Dharma Geet. And I used to listen to A.S. Kang Paji, Sathi Gop, and everybody, whoever. And, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਈਡਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਗਾਉਂਦਾ try and sing like him. I used to sing a lot of A.S. Kang Paji songs, Gurdas Paji songs. And Bhujhangy Group, with Bhujhangy Group, I learned a lot. Before it was just a hobby, then it was like a professional thing. But still, we used to work, never, just on the weekends do the weddings. And ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਬਾਕੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਫਾਊਂਡਰੀ 'ਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਣਾ, ਕੂਰਾ ਮਨਾਈ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੈ.
I think that's really important to say, because I think when people look at, especially younger generation, might be looking at artists now, they think that they can understand that's their job full time to be entertainers.
Yeah.
But people, starting out back in the day, they would have to have their normal job, family life, and then sing on a weekend and just constantly going. How difficult did you find that to balance, especially when you kind of went a little bit further along in the career?
It was hard because my dad always used to, ਪੈਸਾ ਤਾਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕੀ ਮਰਾਸੀਆਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ parents are. But my family supported me a lot, my brothers did. So ਉਹਨਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਹੈ ਤੂੰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ, ਸੋ ਰਾਈਟ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਤੇਰਾ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਹੈ ਵੀਕਐਂਡ ਜਾਂ ਸੀ. It wasn't the case ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪੈਸਾ ਵਾਲੇ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜੇ ਚੰਗੀ ਗਰੁੱਪ 'ਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜੇ ਪੈਸਾ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਿਕਾਰਡਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਖਰਚ ਦੇਈਦਾ, ਹੀ ਹਾਰਡਲੀ ਗਾਟ ਐਨੀਥਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਬਟ ਇਹ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੱਲ ਰੈਕਗਨੀਸ਼ਨ ਬਣੇ, ਸਾਡਾ ਨਾਮ ਬਣ ਜਾਊਗਾ. ਉਹ ਵੀ ਥਿੰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਵੀ ਨਾਮ ਬਣ ਜਾਊਗਾ, ਬਟ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਚਲੋ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਐਂਟਰਟੇਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਸਾਡਾ ਕਲਚਰ, ਵੀ ਕੀਪਿੰਗ ਆਰ ਕਲਚਰ ਅਲਾਈਵ. So youngsters can listen to our music, otherwise they were listening to Western music.
So during Bhujhangy Group, you said that it was a bit more professional in the way that how you learned a lot of things on and out of the studio, on and off out of the band. What was, if you can look back on it now, what was the scene like? So who were the kind of other people who had their groups around you? Was there, we kind of look back in a really nice way when we think all the groups back then, they got on with each other. There's healthy competition. Yeah. Is that fair to say, or was there still a little bit of?
I think that's fair to say. We all, I mean, even when we used to sing in Bhujhangy Group, there was not that many groups at that time. Obviously, A.S. Kang Paji, Nadi Sangeet Party, there were Pradesi Group. There were not this regional Pradesi, another guy named Pradesi. He used to sing from Wobbler Hunt and they munde hunde si with Yamla in it. I mean, we used to meet each other. It was always a healthy. At that time, there wasn't really big shows. It was only weddings. They weren't like.
What was the most popular place? Blue Gates.
Now Blue Gates wasn't that popular because we had to go all the. It's the podium up on chadni hai na.
Yeah.
What was the venues? Most of the venues were schools. Holt School, Broadway School, and mostly ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਤਾਂ ਪੱਬਾਂ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ, ਇਹ ਪੱਬਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਾਲ ਸੀਗੇ, because ਬੰਦੇ ਇਟਸ ਓਨਲੀ ਮੈਨ, women ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਸ਼ਾਦੀਆਂ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ, ਬੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਇਕੱਲੇ. ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੇ, about 100 50 100, that's about it.
Cheaper weddings, then you didn't have to buy the suits. No. I'm saying that very quietly, so my wife can't hear.
Cheaper wedding in every way was cheaper wedding, not that many people. ਖਾਣ ਪੀਣ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਪੇ ਘਰੇ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ. There weren't any caterers around that time. ਘਰੇ ਬਣਾ ਲਈਦਾ ਸੀ, ਗੈਰੇਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਫੂਡ ਘਰੇ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ. Men used to cook.
So we're coming on to a little bit of the golden era now in the early 80s. So Apna Sangeet is nearly 40 years old now, approximately.
Yeah.
Well, I was born in 82, so I know like you guys were having the discussion formulated in 83.
83. Yeah. From 79 to 83, then we made Apna Sangeet.
Yeah. So it'll be 40 years next year then.
Yeah.
So you're going to do something.
Apna Sangeet, it's almost 43, 44 years as me singing since 70.
That's right. Yeah. So what was the decision and why did you kind of think about? I know it wasn't just yourself. There was a couple of you thinking about moving away and getting and setting your own group up?
There was nothing in mind. Like Dana Bajele, you put me no good. That's like sometime in a band, there's always you have misunderstanding, whatever, rakla, ja a disagreement, nahi agree hunda. And we were always the singers, we weren't mostly singers, the hundia. Jeda koi kam sala na karni was never like besadi koi anybody wanted to know what we wanted, never happened. So it was whatever they wanted. That's how even the recording side, gana karna, ene gona, ene karna. There wasn't a choice that say I wanted to sing this. I didn't have a choice. I just had to do that song. Oh yeah, karna ida karna. So we thought, jita ida nahi hunda a second class citizen. Second class citizen. So we thought, we weren't making money. It was hobby. So me and Kulwant thought, क्यों नहीं ਅਸੀਂ decide ਕਰਦੇ ਚਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ try ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ and okay then ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ Locha said you can't use the name Bhujhangy Group. I said no problem. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ use ਕਰਨਾ ਜੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਿਸਮਤ ਚ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਗਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ hobby ਆ. We just start singing.
So I'm gonna enter the legend that is Mr. Apna in at this point. Yeah. So whenever we see each other, we always joke about two things. One, he always says who had the longer hair first, because he always says he had longer hair. He started the long hair. The second one was that he named the group going forward.
Yes.
So originally you set up the band then. So was it a difficult task to find out who you wanted being in the band?
Yeah, it was difficult when we started. There was only three of us. Right, we didn't name Apna Sangeet was a name. We just started. We had a tabla player, Davinderpal Kalsi. So me, Kulwant, and Davinder, we साडा पहला प्रोग्राम ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਸਟਾਫਰਡ ਰੋਡ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਤੇ. After that we started interviewing. ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਤਬਲਾ Kulwant used to play. He can play keyboards, na. So that was an advantage. So then we thought, ਸਾਨੂੰ nobody really knows us, na. Which is true, nobody knows us.
There's no social media then. There's nothing like.
And then उत्ते Kulwant लागे ਹੁੰਦਾ ही गुजरातियां ਦਾ club ਹੁੰਦਾ ही Welford Road ਤੇ. If you I don't know.
Yeah.
उत्ते every month ਕਿਹੜੇ group ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਹਨਾ ਉੱਤੇ program ਕਰਨ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ. So Kulwant ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ask him if he lets us have a chance to sing, he used to pay £150 for the whole night, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਦੇ ਪਾਟਾ. He went to us. He said, the guy asked him, he said, how many in your group? He said, 3 of us. He said, 3 of you? What 3 of you going to do? He said, mates come here, 5, 6 ਜਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ. ਤੁਸੀਂ 3 ਜਣੇ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ? ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੇਮੈਂਟ ਨਾ ਕਰੀ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਂਸ ਦੇ ਦੇ ਪੀਪਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਵੇਂ ਆ give us a chance to sing so people can listen to us. ਆਪਣਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਾਂ ਜੰਗਿਆੜੇ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ AS ਕੰਗ ਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਗੁਰਦਾਸ ਭਾਜੀ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਗਾਣੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ So he said, okay, come on. So he gave 3 of us. We performed in the God's Truth program. Sona lag gaya, and he paid us 150. He said, Paji, next month we raju.
There you go.
Yeah. That was our start. I mean, after that, from there, whoever knew they used to book us. Gurcharan Mall.
So what was the group called then at that point?
ਜਦ ਗੁਰਚਾਨਾ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਇੱਕ ਗੋਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਟੀਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਫੇਮ ਯਾ ਸੋ ਵੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਰੱਖ ਲਈ ਯਾਰ ਫੇਮ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਫੇਮ ਰੱਖ ਲਈਏ. ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਬਰੋਡਵੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਇਹ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਸੀ. ਚਲੋ ਐਵੇਂ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਜਿਹਾ ਬਣੇ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗੇ 4 of us ਇਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸੀਗਾ ਹੁਣ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਹੌਲੀਡੇ ਇੰਨੇ ਆ
in town center
ਉੱਥੇ ਬਣੇ ਭਜਨ ਵਾਸ with us ਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਭਜਨ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਭਜਨ ਕਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਵੇਂ ਆ ਸਾਡੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਦੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ doing videos lot of people used to come so we met and he said ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਯਾਰ ਨਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਰੱਖ ਲਾ and he said ਆਪਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਕਹਿਤਾ that's how we became ਸੰਗੀਤ.
and that's the story. He
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah. No, it was him who gave us.
Yeah. So we went from Fame Sangeet to Apna Sangeet.
Apna Sangeet.
So there's a couple of things that you just said they were really golden. So before you around the lyricist and when people were making the songs, you were told what to be in song.
Yeah.
Then you go into a band now that you're doing a lot of covers of like Kang and Gurcharan Mall, and then now you're starting your own bit. Was it difficult to start coming up through the writing progress? And I know Case Bhamra, he wrote the majority of the
even
songs.
when with Bhujhangy, he used to write songs also.
Yeah.
Lochen used to write, and Honna to like Bale writer to we used to get some songs, but because he used to sing write, so mostly as you record, most of the songs are on an album report are written by K.S. Bhamra. So
And
most, but I unfortunately I used to look around as well if there was a changa koi geet hega, so I used to do that as well.
so the natural chemistry between you two is very, very unique. It's almost telepathic, especially when you used to see you on stage. Like, I remember being as a kid, we didn't care who was getting married. It was like, who's the group? Who's the group?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We used to say, Apna Sangeet, right, we're definitely going. So there used to be such chemistry as a group, as a band. But in particular, you two, was that something that was formed, or was it just always natural the way that you two were?
No, it just came natural, to be honest, because all the guys were very talented. They were very lively, and went from 3 we went to 4. From 4, then we became 6 with Arjinder Kang and Niki Patel. And they used to be in Chirag Pehchan. So obviously they probably didn't get on there, how it happens.
Yeah.
Then it was Bhajan who knew. I knew Kang as well. It was Bhajan who brought them into Apna Sangeet for musically being a better band. So नहीं तो ऐसी कलवंते भी आंदा सी, musically side we were lacking at that time. So with Niki and Jinder coming, that musical lack was gone because Niki was really good on keyboards.
And you had then, you had a period of time where before your first album that was being done. Were you recording the album at the same time as soon as you were formed, or did you just because you waited about 3 years?
In 84 we recorded.
Yeah.
84 we recorded. Now we used to do shows, weddings, and then we recorded the song Apna Sangeet by Apna Sangeet, the album. ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੱਚਦੀਆਂ ਮੁਟਿਆਰਾਂ ਗਿੱਧੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾਬੀਆਂ ਬਲੇਤੀ ਨੱਚੀਆਂ ਗੁਰਨਾ ਇਸ਼ਕ ਮਿੱਠਾ, and that was recorded in a house, Niki's house. So, it was in a proper studio.
Yeah, so it's those like little golden sticks. So if you can, go back, how was the setup when you were going to record something like that? Was it like one take, or everyone was in one room? How long did you have to practice in order to get that?
Now, we used to practice 3 times a week, regardless what it is. And when we used to record, the first album was like you say, was a homemade studio, it wasn't a studio. Post time they wasn't computerized, it was school. They only had 4 tracks.
Yeah.
1 for music, 1 for beat, 1 for vocal, 1 for mixing. Right? In one little room they had Jinder Kang had a school thing, 4-track machine. In the other room, normal mic.
Yeah.
Was a professional mic recording normal SM57s and things like that. And Davinder playing tabla on the floor, and we sing it. He used to music in all one take. That's how we recorded the first album. And it wasn't like ek line kar le chal je wrong ho gaye to hi line fera. No, you have to sing the whole song.
And how much pressure as a lead singer would you have to make sure that you delivered on that bit, because it was very expensive to record back then as well. So
that's why we did it at home. That's why we couldn't afford it to go to the studio. So that's why we recorded. It didn't cost us much because it was Niki's and Jenkin's and everything. So everything and all the instruments were played by ourselves as well. Not me, I can't play anything.
Yeah. You had the tambourine.
Tambourine, yeah.
There you go.
Played the tambourine. on stage. That's the only stage not for recording either.
Yeah, but it's iconic, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
tambourine. You and the tambourine
yeah.
is very iconic as well.
So you recording, like you say, we couldn't afford to go probably into studios. So that album became success, to be honest, and people really liked the songs. And from there, then we recorded the next two albums in Bombay.
Which was Tour India and Mera Yaar.
Mera Yaar, yeah.
And were they recorded at the same time then?
That was no. Those were recorded in 86, 87.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, like, did you record them at the same time? You had you recorded so many songs and then you split it, or did you go back?
No. Only them is good. These were new songs altogether.
Yeah.
Right. Then we were going to go to Bombay. Our company Sirocco.
Yeah.
Guy Himmat Singh, जिन्हें साड़ी release की थी. He was a very good friend of Arjinder and also our family friend. He had a company CBI. He used to distribute Hindi songs and things like that. So he had contacts in Bombay. So Uttar Bombay, he took us for recording. We did 2 albums in 4 days, 20 songs.
That's what I meant. Like, you recorded 2 albums. That is crazy.
At the same time, yeah. Then we split. There were 2 music directors, one for 10 songs different, another 10 a different music director, and that's when the really experience, how to sing in a studio. There's a pressure, always pressure. These people in Bombay, the musicians were from Bombay. And they're professional people. Only they don't make mistakes. We do. So it was like, at that time, it was still 4 tracks. Even in those times, they used to have big orchestra, 10 tolki wale, tabale wale, clarinet player, synthesizers, whatever. And they all used to, and singers used to be in the booth, and they used to play music, and you used to record. One take. If you made a mistake, we had to do the whole song again.
I mean, now that is pressure, isn't it? You.
It's not easy as it looks.
And did you start feeling that the reaction, you started to gain a big fan base in India as well as the UK? Because in UK you went massive straight. You were big.
I think when the album Tour India came, that really pushed up high. And in India, we did 2 shows while we were there. We did 1 show in Bombay, and then 1 show in Delhi, Taj Palace, and which was good success. It wasn't like big show, dinner dance. The organizer, Himmat Singh, he organized it. But when we came back, the Soho Road song became that popular, and from there we never looked back, to be honest.
But you were very consistent as a band that you were releasing every year for
almost every 6 months or every year we used to record an album. And even like sometimes you see, God gives you everything. I always believe in that. Soho Road wasn't our song. It was given to Chirag Pehchan.
Yeah, I was coming to that. So there's the story of that is pretty interesting. So it was written for somebody, and you were there, or you liked the song, didn't you?
Because Amajit used to work as a pharmacist on Soho Road when the band was Chirag Pehchan. Writer Joshila came from India. Right, he was a writer in India. He came. He used to know, Punjabi Post. Nahi humta hai Kuldeep Punjabi Post wala.
Yeah,
he used to do the calendars and things like. So he introduced him to Amajit. He said, Amajit, they've got, he's a writer, and then you've got a band. So he probably gave him. So this song was given to them, Chirag Pehchan. But when they went to record Nach Pesor, they didn't like the song or whatever. I don't know. They never recorded it. And when Arjinder and Kang came to us with Apna Sangeet from Chirag Pehchan, so we were just before going to Bombay, Arjinder said, there was a song, Sardara. We were having a drink in a pub. And he said, there's a song that Chirag Pehchan never released, and I've got that song. And I said, So he said that so who wrote it and I love that record. It's a lot record card. That's how it happened. I said, let's record it. And so he and I luck hundi ya Vaheguru dena hunda. So that song made our name, to be honest. And we went and recorded it.
It smashed like in terms of like the record sales of it must have been incredible. Were you able to get kind of numbers and figures of what the sales were doing back then?
No. These companies never used to give because the company and so they never used to. We never really were bothered much. Sanu pata nahi si royalty scheme hundi, to be honest. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Aadi royalty meri gadi nahi. Sanu shauq siga be cheda chi biya karte jado to pahe we used to split 6 ways. It wasn't that the singers got more and the tabla till keep it in. We all split same equal money.
And that was pretty rare, isn't it, at the time as a band at that time?
I didn't see, as far as I know, I don't know any other band who did that, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But we did, while we were Apna Sangeet, all 6 of us, we split equal. That was probably, the thing behind our success, to be honest, being equal. Everybody put hard work towards the group, and from there we never look back. And we were still working till 88, 89 when we started touring abroad. Then we gave up our jobs.
And then did you also had an album? You worked with Bhujhangy Group as well, didn't you? As well.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Knowing that the artist that he on his CV on his who he's working with.
He was very strict. He was perfection. He wanted everything to be perfect. If he didn't like, just already because he did big artist, a great music director. It was a different experience with him. Then we did with Amar Haldipur as well. He's a film music director, but he was more like a friend to us, so we were okay with him. So because he was more of a friend as well, but he helped us a lot.
So you had your own, you obviously you're with the band as well at the same time, and then you were just as successful at the same time as your solo career as well. Was that just a natural way of saying that I wanted to just do a couple of different projects or different kind of style of music?
No, not really, because I've always did whatever. I never did any recording without the band. So whatever we used to record used to be the band ਲਈ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਯਾਰ ਤੂੰ ਕੱਲੇ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਨਿਕਲਣਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਯਾਰ band, we're happy with the band, so why not? So then Kalwant did solo on his own. He did Overdrive.
Okay.
Yeah, with Surinder Camp fronting at them. So then the other part maybe said, why don't you do it as well? Then I approached Sidhu, that I want to do a solo album. Then I did an album, Jam to the Bhangra.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I did. It wasn't that attended I was going to go on my own to do an album. Then we did an album together as a band. Then we always used to do individually. Because everybody sometimes, Ricky, you had your apne hunde hai na choice abhi main idan de gaana record karna chahna. Sometimes with the band you were probably फिर उन्हें करना, do everybody like this song? आ सारे गाने like कर दे या पकड़ लिए या नहीं करना. So things like that happen. Then फिर when you do your solo album, it's your choice which song you want to do.
Yeah.
So it was more like that, like with Jam to the Bhangra, then we did this Apna Sangeet Apna Sangeet.
So I'm just gonna go on a little bit more about this bit, about some of the achievements that you did. You won multiple awards at the Asian Pop Awards, and one which is lovely displayed in your house. As soon as you come in, it's just there. I love it when I've seen it. What was it like to win an award like that, especially knowing that the caliber of other artists that were there?
It was, when we first, one was an upcoming band in I think the first one MG did was 85, 86, something like that, 87. And when they were like Allah, Hira, with 10 people in the band, all the great musicians, everything. It was always we were very good friends also, but looking at them, oh, we got to do trying to go down the day or whatever. But I think the one thing with us, our live performance was probably sometimes better than even our recording, because we were all very lively. That's what. Then we won the best live band a couple of times as well. Uh, because people voted for that as well, and it was good fun, and you know because there was these pop awards. Every band used to release an album almost every year, and then you used to look at the sales and look at because there were radio station, BBC Asian Network, Ajkal Radio. They used to have charts how long that song's been number one at that week. Things like that they took into consideration when they used to give the awards, which was good.
Yeah, I was 100%. And another accolade that you won was when it was the 50 greatest Bhangra songs. And,
BBC Asian Network,
yeah. So as a radio presenter, which came in at number 3 was Dasya. Number 2 was Munde at the Bachkeri with BMC. And number 1 was Apna Sangeet, Vajje Apna Sangeet.
Yeah.
I mean, to have that recognition even so many years after from the original kind of release.
It was released in '92.
Yeah, and then
this happened in 2013, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It was in the teens
because it was a 50-year thing they did.
And 50
songs for that reason. Yeah, it was amazing. I actually, when I had 2 songs in the top 50, Soho Road and Apna Sangeet, and I didn't imagine because Mundiya To Bach Ke was a big hit with the Western world as well, So, but there again, the voting people was probably more Asians, So, yeah, and when we were sitting in the BBC studios, then they were counting down, and Punjabi MC, and we were sitting together, and they announced the third, and then they said the two, and I said to Punjabi MC, I said, Paji, congratulations, he thought, because we thought Amaji said to him,
yeah.
And suddenly they said, Apna Sangeet, then we laughing, right, and then, that it happens, things like that, but I didn't imagine that to be number 1. I thought Mundiya To Bach Ke probably would have been, but I would like to thank all the voters, all the people who voted. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection in terms of how important the music, and especially when kids are growing up. Having that journey with the kind of, you have your soundtracks of your life, and I think certain songs and certain bands have
Ricky,
that.
Ricky, the beauty with that song was, I think, when Amiji did recorded that song without any remix or nothing, even played now, you'll get the dance floor.
Yeah.
He did that music. The music is still, it was recorded in '92 and it's 2022.
Yeah.
I've
said to you this before, it saved many a wedding, that song. I think you have songs for each occasion. The football tournaments, whenever that happens. Road as well. What I was going to ask you was around. You mentioned when we were talking about the groups, and you mentioned Alap and Hira, especially from London.
Yeah.
Did you? Was there that friendly? I'm going to keep it friendly rivalry between the Midlands
of course.
and London, because I remember whenever it was like a Birmingham and London wedding, the Birmingham lads always had an advantage by having Sony Monday Midland there. They couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Did you always have that friendly rivalry with them guys? Because they would have been, from the looks of it, they looked a little bit more professional in terms of the
music.
Like that.
There was always a lot. It was healthy. Like I said, we're all background. We used to sit together after the show. We had a drink together. But on stage, we wanted to be one better than them, and they wanted to be one better than us. And like you said, from Midlands, like We used to be Shin, DCS, Azad, Pradesi, and they were Hole Hole, Hira, Allah, Premi. You know, always a lot. Every show, they always used to have a couple of bands from the Midlands and a couple of bands from London. Because, it gives you the variety as well, So
Yeah.
and maybe we're still friends. That's the biggest thing, And I think in UK, most of the groups have been very close to each other, friendly. I mean, at weddings, we see each other, we invite each other, which is a good thing. And music. I always say, "Jo kismat da kisi no mil jana." To be jealous with someone, you won't gain anything. You never gain it. So even good. It's their good luck. If that song become a hit. I see badaiyan. Congratulations. On with Hira, we've toured Canada 2-3 times. With Safri, we've toured Canada. With Pradesi, we've toured Canada. And all of the places, which is always a healthy competition. Even then, it was even when we used to go having a laugh and joke while we were in our hotels, but on the stage. Oh, you want to be? Never used to tell what we're going to do on the day. Sometimes we used to dress in fancy clothes, and underneath we wear our traditional clothes, then take them off while we're on stage when we were abroad. Just to be one better than the other band. So things like that we used to do when we were young. We're getting old now, can't do that.
I think it's one of the good sides of when you see, especially like the legends or old school, together. They're always very respectful and
Yeah.
And I remember one wedding where like Malkeet Singh was there, and everybody, it was almost like the distraction from where the actual wedding was going because all the artists were together,
Yeah.
and they were having such, I think you came up in an era where there was values, there were people respected each other, and respected their come. I think nowadays when you see it, it's always like, you never liked my photo, you never shared this photo, and you get
We
in
never,
adult crying.
we never had that social media in our times. It was just cassettes. And
Do you think you're lucky that you weren't brought
Yeah.
up, you never released in the social media?
I think we were lucky we were in that era, because if you think now, a new song released today or tomorrow, the life is very short. The olden, that's what they say, old is gold. Olden songs, even you listen to Rafi Saabji, Lataji, they're evergreen songs. Now people book us. Why do they book us? They still want to listen to our old songs. If we record something new, Ricky, they still say, Paji, now we want to listen to Sohora, we want to listen to Apna Sangeet, Roj Rojani Auna, Boliyan. Yeah, we can't get away from. That's the beauty of that era.
Yeah.
All the old bands who are still carrying on now is because of the old recordings.
Yeah.
And all our recordings, ਸਾਡੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਗੀਤ ਸੀ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਕ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਗੀਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, family songs. People, your sister, you can listen with your sister, you can watch with your sister. Also, video की हुंदी ਸੀ, still singing on stage. That's all it was. It wasn't professional videos with dancers or anything like that. So I think because and we were like ਸਾਡੇ group ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ family group ਹੈ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰਕ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ group, which people appreciate it and thank them for that.
So I want you to think about the next question. I want you to think very closely, and so I'm going to ask you a question, and then you got to tell me why. Okay. So, in Apna Sangeet, what was your favorite album and why?
There's two.
Go on then. That's fine. I'll let you off.
Because both songs did me wonders.
Yeah.
For India and Jam to the Bhangra.
I had that as your favorite solo one because I had Tour India or Mera Yar. That's what I had in there, and then your solo one was either going to be obviously Pure Magic and Jam to the Bhangra.
Jam to the Bhangra, because that was very up to date music on that, right? Even Pure Magic, which Bali Bhuta did, and was a great hit. But these two songs have took me all over the world till now. Soho Road, because when we first went to Canada to do a tour, hardly anybody knew. There was one Shushma Hundi Soda, TV program. So we did an interview. Duje then we was going to go before the shows. See, Gurdwara Matha Tekan Chale si. You know, you can hear the whisper when oh Sohoro Dale Aga Sohoro Dale. You know, these things you remember, huh?
Yeah.
You know, because all they knew, they didn't know our names. Sardara Gill, Bhamra, Davinderpal Kalsi. The song was labeled with us.
But I think you also had the trademark with the hair and everything.
Yeah,
So that kind of branding was kind of ahead of its time. Then you know, what I mean, you had
and the headbands.
yeah, well, the headbands, yeah. And then you even like there was a program on earlier on this year, and they had Sohorod on in the program. I forgot what the name of the program was on.
Oh yeah, Gorian Dasia.
Yeah.
D.I. Ray.
Yeah, that's it. D.I. Ray. That's the one. Yeah. I think that was the only good bit of that show.
No, the producers rang me for that, Hannah. They rang me, Hannah. They said, you know, it's your song we want to. I said, look, you know, from my side, do what you want to do with the song. I don't want royalties. I'm not like that.
Yeah.
He said, I said, what about the company? He said, don't worry about the company. We'll deal with it. He said, I said, you know, ask the company. They said, we'll ask that as well. But they said, we want to use this song in this drama they were doing anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad show in fairness, but it was good to see that back. So in terms, another question, because my favorite song is Akiya Lake, and I always try and get you to sing that. And then the one time I asked you to sing it, you go, Ricky, I don't know. I've sang it so many years ago, I forgot the words.
I can sing Sasaki. The thing is, certain things with a live band, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
When you're doing a PA, all music really different.
Yeah,
live.
it's different.
When we used to live, we used to be like Gurdas Paji gaunde hunde si na.
Yeah. So here's a question now. So, what was your favorite song that you recorded, and what's the favorite song that you like to sing live?
Recorded, and I sing to my song or somebody else's song.
It could be anything that you've done.
No, well, I like to sing. So I like to sing. Apna sing all my songs.
Yeah.
But say if I wanted to sing, I like singing Gurdas Paji's. I like to sing Challa.
Yeah.
And Sajjana Ve Sajjana Teri Sheher Wali. Things like that. Sometimes it depends what kind of audience you've got.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got a listening audience, then you want to do that kind of song. And it's always nice to do different kind of songs at different occasions.
And you got a very strong relationship with the Gurdas man. Whenever you are, you know, some of your pictures going back for how long? Do you are you kind of regular contact? Do you have that kind of that network around, or you see each other when on tour only?
No, actually, it's only when he came over here. He came to my house in the 80s and when we went to Bombay, first recording second time him and his wife came to see us, and they took us out for a meal. He's a great gentleman, great artist. Sometimes you can be a great artist, but sometimes pata nahi hunda banda. But he's very down to earth guy, and he's done a lot for our Punjabi culture vaste, Punjabi maa boli vaste, bahut kuch अच्छे की.
I mean, like, it's not getting away from it in that stuff where how you have there's the politics involved. There's loads of things, not just with him, but just with everybody.
Yeah.
How do you look back on? Is it difficult for you to stay quiet on certain things, or do you just let it be?
Me myself, I can only talk for myself. I don't get involved with politics. To me, everybody is the same. To me, I am a music. I can sing. They're all same to me, and I will only sing songs which I think my family is back. I wouldn't do a song where I'm not comfortable doing. I won't do it. A lot of young musicians have given me songs. I said, show me the lyrics first. If I don't like the lyrics, I say, no disrespect to them, I said, Mano Kana, look, Kaka, these are for the youngster guys to sing, for not for me to sing, because I can't sing these kind of songs, because I've never done them and I don't want to do it now. Whatever. But I've always kept away from it. That's it. You know, and I have no issue with jo koi karda kise nu. I always say good luck to them. Ode bhi koi follower hai hi ya. Probably more followers than mere ya. There are probably more people following him for what he does. Some people might not like him. Some people might like him. But good luck to the guy. Who am I to say bad? You know, it's for public to judge right or wrong, not for me to, you know. He's a fellow artist. If he can, ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਕਮਾਉਣੀ ਆ, ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਕਮਾਉਂਦਾ, ਜੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਚ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਆ satisfaction ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੀ ਨਾ ਮਿਲੇ, that's up to him. I can't say, that's from him to say, not for me to say. But if I did certain songs and it won't, ਮੇਰੇ ਚ ਉਹ respect ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣੀ. So I wouldn't do it.
I mean, like this was,
you know, you should be, I always say, Rabbi da shukrana karo, be happy for what you got. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਦੌੜੋ, overnight fame ਨਾ ਸੋਚੋ. Don't try to be overnight fame ਬਣ ਜਾਵਾਂ, overnight success ਬਣ ਜਾਵਾਂ. ਮੈਂ ਅੱਜ ਗਾਣਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਹਿੱਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਬੋਲਣਾ, oh yeah, talk to my manager. ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਮੈਨੇਜਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਰੱਖਿਆ. You know, we always doubt ourselves. Yeah, good luck in a manager ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ. We've never done it, so good luck to, I always say good luck to the guy who does it.
Yeah.
Not me.
The other bit is like, obviously this year we lost Sidhu. It was
sad,
murder, and then you know having Balwinder Safri in recently.
ਦੇਖੋ ਜੀ, ਇਸ ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਤਾ ਮੰਗੇਸ਼ਕਰ ਜੀ, Sadhu Skandar, Thal Stereo Nation, Sidhu Moosewala and Balwinder Safri. Great loss to music industry. In their own right, they were all very good. Like certain people might not like certain songs.
Yeah.
But the followers he's got, probably none of us got that many followers, you know, if you think about it. But it's a sad loss to music industry. You know. Siren, God bless their soul. Rest in peace. That's what we can say.
Do you, like, when those deaths happen, especially with like Taz and stuff, well, there was a couple you mentioned, I forgot, but especially like with somebody like Sadul and just an absolute master. And then when you,
and I had an honor to sat with the last program is ਇਕੱਠਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਕੀਤਾ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ organ donation ਦਾ ਵੀ song ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਸੀ ਗਾਣਾ ਗਾਇਆ and when they came to do the video over here, his wife Noori came and his two sons were with him and we all were together. Lovely family, lovely guys. And his son used to say, he said, Uncle, we used to listen to your songs while we were in Canada and things like that. And I said, we used to listen to your dad. He wasn't almost same age as us, not much difference in that. But he was a great artist, or Vaheguru di Rab di den se, people like that are God-gifted people.
Whenever there's a tribute and you hear it, I haven't had a chance to mention this, but when Dips Bhamra was doing a tribute to Balwinder Safri, I was in the shop and I just stood still. I was just listening to the music and just going, and I found myself being really, really reflecting and getting all those memories back and stuff. When you, as an artist and also as a very good friend.
Safri was very close to us. Before he went into hospital, he actually rang me. He said, Sardara, are you free? So date, there's a program in Glasgow, in Scotland. I said, Safri Sahab, I'm busy, I'm in Malaysia, I was going to Malaysia. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਆਂਗਾ ਤੇਰੀਆ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਚੇਤਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਡੇਟਾ ਦਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਡੇਟਾ ਹੀ ਚੇਤੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਆ ਹੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ we're having a laugh and joke and sadly a couple of weeks later he went into this triple bypass. Then he went into coma.
Yeah.
You know, we went to see him. He spoke to me. Came out of coma. On the video, I had a chat with him, and he was speaking with me. We were all happy. Then suddenly, what
Mm.
can ਉਹ ਪਾਣਾ ਰੱਬ ਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਆ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਸਵਾਸ ਲਿਖੇ ਆ ਲਿਖੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਮੈਨੇ we can't do anything about it ਇਹੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਚ ਨਿਵਾਸੇ ਬਸ but what a great artist
Yeah.
in his heydays nobody can touch him that's honest.
Mm. And I think that's why it's important. Like I said it from very start, to get the stories of what you're saying and what
Yeah.
people are doing, you know, documented down and as well. You know, as you were as you kind
like,
of
let me put it another time. You know, we were going to sorry to interrupt you.
no, okay.
I see we were going to do a tour in Canada, and he was at that time he did the Bomb the Tumbi, you know, he was
Yeah.
and we already been to Canada again. Started we are doing this Katrina shows. So we apne aap nu bhi, we do something. And when he came on, they had a security guy on his shoulders, Safri, you know, you know, which healthy competition where you know having a laugh and joke at the end. But it was all, you know, at that time he was so big. He had great hits, you know.
Yeah.
The guy was phenomenal singer, phenomenal.
And I think that's how you we think about the music, and the music kind of lives on. And you know, just you want to kind of bring you back to yourself now, where it was where things, you know, and there'll be a time and place to kind of reflect on that and get the deserved credit from where it needs to be. And everybody, you know, from all the tributes have been fantastic. The you know, Apna Sangeet then was also a huge success in going in there, and then it got into it came to a position of where all of a sudden one day we woke up and it was Apna Group.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Like you say, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਭਾਂਡੇ ਤਾਂ ਖੜਕਦੇ ਹੀ ਆ ਨਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਹੁਣ so sometimes ਉਹੀ misunderstanding ਹੁੰਦੀ I mean we still friends you know at that time ਥੋੜੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ we had disagreements everybody had disagreements so then we said okay everybody can go their own way whichever they want to go so me and Kalwan still stuck together. Niki and Arjinder went their separate ways. They had a recording studio, whatever they want to do, and Gurcharan was still stayed with, and Davinderpal Kalsi was still with. Then Bhamra Munda keyboard, we had him. Then Niku drum stage. So Kalsi was still with us. So we still carried on. Thoda char apna group rakhe, then you know hunda bhi tusi apna sangeet nahi use kar sakde. Then Bhajan said, Apna Sangeet kyun nahi use kar sakde? It's his name, so nobody can do it. So then we started using Apna Sangeet again. Back to Apna Sangeet.
So Bhajan named Apna Sangeet twice.
Yeah. He said, you know, because nobody really had any rights that you can't use it, you know. Using it. Then nobody really said anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all on, you know, at a wedding, Niki, we all still, Jinder, Kang, we all get together. So Davinderpal Kalsi is in London. We hardly see him. He's not
well.
Really well either. To be honest, he's in a home now. So I hope he gets well.
And so in terms of, like, you're still getting booked out and you're still doing things. I know you do your individual kind of solo releases at a time. Do you think that there's ever an opportunity then to kind of either go back and re-record some of the hits, or is there a chance of a new Apna Sangeet kind of a new single to come out? And the reason why I say that is because sometimes it feels like there's a time right where everyone's very nostalgic and they go back into it, and I think there's a space in the market for the new stuff, old stuff, and a little bit of something different.
With the old stuff, right? It's you have to, every time you're going to go through the music companies because they've got all the rights. At that time we never used to think it's a program agenda, sign a card, okay, you know, they used to pay for recording, so we never really bothered. But now you realize we should have.
So is that what I was going to ask the question actually? You know, if Sardara Gill now had a chance to meet the young Sardara Gill, what would be the advice that you would have given him? Would it be about the royalties?
I wouldn't have signed to a company just like that. should have kept some rights for myself. If I want to record my own songs again, they shouldn't have any problem with it. Because when I did re-recorded Soho Road, I still used to pay the company, has to pay the company to re-record it again. I've recorded, I still have to pay the company to re-record it. There you go. That's how it is.
There were some clever lawyers back then.
Yeah, well, we weren't that clever.
No. I think that's what it is. You went,
Foundry wale kaam karna the wajah se we didn't know much about these things. To be honest, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Sometimes ਜਿੰਨਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਬਰ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਰਿਕੀ ਕਰੋ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ thank you God you've given us more than what I always say he's given me more than what I deserve so ਮੈਂ ਉਹ ਰੋਲਟੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲੀ ਉਹ 5% ਉੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ you know I always say live your life look at the people ਕਿਹੜੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ 2 ਦਿਨ ਦੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਾਜੀ ਮਿਲਦੀ how lucky we are ਹਨਾ and ਫਿਰ ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦਿਖਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਲੋਕ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਚਾਨਦੇ ਆ ਲੋਕ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਉਹ ਦੇਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਤਾਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਹੀ ਆ ਨਾ ਜੇ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਪਰੀਸ਼ੀਏਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਉਹ ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਗ ਹੈਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਂ money isn't everything I've never thought that money is everything ਹਨਾ as long as ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਫਰਟੇਬਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਇਕੱਠੀ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਇਕੱਠੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਰੋਟੀਆਂ ਮਿਲਦੀਆਂ what more do you need is that happiness ਨਾ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਗਾਣਾ I say thank God you give me ਮੈਂ ਰੱਬ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਤੂੰ ਹਜੇ ਹੀ ਬਾਉਂਸ ਦੇਈ ਜਾਂਦਾ which is true
yeah
after 40 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਆ and thank God people are still booking so what more do I need and I thank all these guys and I thank God thank all these lovely people and you know funny thing is when we're doing wedding now we did the parents wedding
yeah
that's the beauty I did a wedding before the lockdown ਤੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਕੁੜੀ ਦੇ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਸੀ ਹਨਾ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਪੈਰੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਕੁੜੀ ਦੇ ਪੈਰੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੀਤਾ and now ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਸੀ and I was performing at that's the beauty about this music and things like that makes you carry on ਚੋਬਰਾ ਪੈਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਇਹ ਆ ਵੱਲਾ you know ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ entertain ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਦਿਨ ਵਧੀਆ ਦਿਨ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦਾ ਦਿਨ ਆ if you can make you know put something towards that make them even better for their special day what more do you need it's music is that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna bring it to a close now but I just want to give you an opportunity at this bit where in the bandwagon I give every guest the opportunity to say what a chance for them to either jump on a bandwagon or jump off one or if there was any kind of subject that they wanted to talk about is there anything that when you look back on the music scene or just generally what you see out there that you think we need a bit of a chat
there's always ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਗੀਤ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮਾਈਂਡ 'ਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਈ ਮਾਈਂਡ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਗੀਤ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਬਟ at the moment I'm not getting the right lyrics sometimes it's gonna click here ਹਨਾ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਈ ਗਾਣੇ ਮਗਾਏ ਆ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਂ I'm not gonna say on what subject but till it doesn't click ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਹਨਾ ਕਈ ਗਾਣੇ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਧੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ when I asked ਜੰਡੂ ਲਿੱਤਰਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਕੋਈ ਧੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਗੀਤ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਗੀਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ ਨਾ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਮਿੱਠੜੇ ਬੇਬੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਗਾਇਆ ਆ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਗੀਤ ਭਾਜੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਓ then he gave me about Ricky gave me about 3-4 songs ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਹਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਆ and out of that I liked one ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ and that song now since I recording that not many people knew about the recording है ना
it was on WhatsApp
when a song at my friends ਉਹਦੇ ਦੋਤੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਨਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਪਵਨਜੀ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਫਾਕ ਕਰੌਟ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ he was saying ਜਦ ਸਰਦਾਰੀ ਚ ਜਦ ਵੀ ਆਇਆ ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰੇ ਬ੍ਰਦਰਸ ਹੋਏ ਮੇਰੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਥੋੜੇ ਜਿਹਾ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਮੈਂ after ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਇਆ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਕੋਈ ਧੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਦੋਤੀ ਗੀਤ ਉੱਥੇ ਬਣਾਏ ਗੀਤ and that song became viral all over the world it had about 7,000-8,000 shares on that song. Now look, no music, they see. And these are the songs that touches you, Hana, when people tell you, Paji, Yaro geet suna. Even now, what मैं ਹੁਣ कई कुड़ियां दे people birthday ਆ ਜਾਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਜੰਮਦੀਆਂ, people invite me just because of the song. They asked me to come and sing for them. Hana? So things like that, कई गीत ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ which I still want to do, but must be the right song.
The artist is always in there, isn't it? So I'm just going to bring it to a close now. Then,
Okay.
Is it all right? Okay. So
you want me to sing anything?
I ain't gonna say no. You choose whatever you want to sing.
No,
You'll be the first guest that has sang on here. That'd be amazing.
I do a tiyan da geet.
Go on then.
Not so wrote up. Are you recording?
So yep.
Oh, okay. So this is for everybody. Tiyan mama sare vaste. Tiyan hai shingar karan da, sach kahan satkar karan da. Tiyan hai shingar karan da, sach kahan satkar karan da. गीत कोड़ियां किकली गिते तिन्हां ने पाउणे सी जे धीआं ना हुंदियां पुत्तर कित्थों आउणे सी जे धीआं ना हुंदियां पुत्तर कित्थों आउणे सी धीआं हुंदियां धिर मापियां दा धीआं ना सरदारी हर अमड़ी बाबल नूं हुंदी धी जान तो प्यारी रंगले रंगले पीड़े लैके कट्ठियां विच तरिंजणा बह के चरखे किने कमाउणे सी जे धीआं ना हुंदियां पुत्तर कित्थों आउणे सी जे धीआं ना हुंदियां पुत्तर कित्थों आउणे सी ਧੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਨੀਆਂ ਬਣਦੀਆਂ ਧੀਆਂ ਬਣਦੀਆਂ ਮਾਵਾਂ ਮਾਵਾਂ ਠੰਡੀਆਂ ਛਾਵਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਂ 100 ਸਦਕੇ ਜਾਵਾਂ ਚੱਲੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਰੀਤ ਪੁਰਾਣੀ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਵਾਰ ਕੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਜੋੜੇ ਕਿਨੇ ਲਗਾਉਣੇ ਸੀ ਜੇ ਧੀਆਂ ਨਾ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਉਣੇ ਸੀ ਜੇ ਧੀਆਂ ਨਾ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਉਣੇ ਸੀ ਧੀਆਂ ਹੈ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰ ਘਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਧੀਆਂ ਹੈ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰ ਘਰਾਂ ਦਾ Thank you.
Wow. That's amazing. Oh, that is class, honestly, and I really thank you for that.
So,
almost gets you emotional, almost welling
yeah.
up. You know what I mean? You have to. I have to cut it anyway now, but that was amazing.
It does. So that's what I'm saying. Some of these kind of songs, and you want to get the right song before you record it. You know.
Anyway, of course, thank you for.
Thank you, Ricky, for having me.
I really appreciated this. I know it's a rare interview that you're given, and honestly, I just want to thank you for everything that you do, and make sure you keep it going and keep
thank you.
Keep moving and keep performing. I really
and good luck with your other projects. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. All the best. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.